Welcome to CBT News with Shyann Malone.
Good morning and welcome back to CBT News. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Here with today's top automotive headlines is Chris Riggins.
Thanks, Shyann. On today's show, we're joined by Carl Brower, executive analyst for iSeeCars.com. But first, dealers feel less confident in the future of the car market than they did in the third quarter, according to Cox Automotive's latest dealer sentiment report. Anxieties over the economy, such as unabated inflation and high interest rates, caused the retailer market outlook to drop 5 points in Q4 to the lowest level since 2020. Other factors, such as declining traffic and earnings, also contributed to the decline. Dealer sentiments have fluctuated heavily throughout 2023 as the market has inched closer to pre-pandemic norms. In union news, more than 30% of Volkswagen employees at the company's Tennessee plant have joined the United Auto Workers Union in its latest push for organized labor. According to the UAW, it took only a week of campaigning to win the support of nearly a third of workers at the facility. In a statement, Volkswagen emphasized its commitment to providing a high-quality working environment, but said it would respect its employees' decision to organize. The UAW is presently courting workers at 13 non-unionized plants across the U.S. In more labor news, Tesla's efforts to resist unionization at its Swedish service centers has hit a new roadblock after a court dismissed its case to force local postal service workers to deliver license plates. The automaker has faced growing pressure from labor unions across Denmark, Norway, and Sweden after refusing to sign a collective bargaining agreement with technicians. The local postal service union said it would refuse to deliver the EV brand's license plates in solidarity with Tesla mechanics. Other Scandinavian organizations across multiple industries have announced plans to block shipments of Tesla vehicles and threaten to sell their shares in the company. Stellantis employees are facing another round of layoffs in the U.S. as the automaker grapples with falling North American sales and a massive increase in labor cost following this year's United Auto Workers strike. The company warned that 3,650 workers at its Jeep plants in Michigan and Ohio may be let go starting in February 2024. Stellantis blamed the layoffs on California regulations, where lawmakers have sought to boost EV sales through restrictive emissions requirements. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Carl Brower, executive analyst at iSeeCars.com, to give us a look back at the 2023 EV market. We'll be right back.
Well, if you're not already subscribed to CBT News, now is the perfect time to do it. For over a decade, CBT has brought you exclusive and in-depth interviews with dealer principals, OEM executives, industry analysts, and top-level sales and management trainers. Join the thousands of automotive professionals that rely on CBT News for the insights that drive profits and maximize the bottom line. Subscribe today.
Bring us up to speed on what we've seen this year with regard to EV sales. Where do we stand?
Yeah, we looked at the numbers and the kind of the market share that was going on across the country. And, a lot of people are excited because they feel like the market share has gone up compared to maybe a year ago. But it didn't look like it went up as rapid in the past 12 months, as rapidly as it had the previous 12 months. Mm-hmm. More importantly, when we broke it down by state, what we really saw was that states like Oregon or California or Washington state that have between 7 and 10% EV market share, those are the three highest in the country, are also growing the slowest. Mm. And when we looked at the states that had moved up the most in market share, they were usually states that were at 0 to 3%.
There's a lot of room to grow there.
Yeah, and so it suggests what I think we're going to start to really recognize, which is that there's a percentage of people in any given location that are happy to buy an EV. Maybe they have a multi-car garage, they can put in a 240 charger for overnight charging. They can afford a multi-car fleet, so they can have a car that can get them long distances without having to worry about recharging, but just fill up with gas, but they can still run around locally in the EV. And once that group buys in, it gets much harder to get all the people living in multi-domain complexes like condos and apartments. And of course, all the people who look at an EV and still see they have to pay more money for an EV versus an equivalent gasoline car, especially when most people finance their new car purchase or even their used car purchase. And if you pay more, you're paying more to borrow the money that it costs you to get that more expensive EV.
That's right.
And be sure to watch this full interview right here at cbtnews.com. Well, that's all for our show today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on cbtnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for watching CBT News. We'll see you right back here next time.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content.